The world is losing it. And I just can't sit idly by knowing the things that I know without trying to interfere and contribute to a more compassionate and understanding society. I hear it daily. People passionately defending their beliefs, convinced that the truth is exclusively on their side. So today I want to talk about what is so profound in these spiritual studies that it can actually change the world. Hi, I am Descartes. For the past decade, I've devoted myself to studying spirituality and mysticism through Kabbalah teachings and spiritual guidance, realizing how much the world needs enlightenment and understanding of the phenomena occurring around us. I've decided to start posting weekly videos to shed some light on the most recent events. So first we need to talk about how can I even prove the existence of spirituality? What is that form of spirituality that I'm talking about? And how does it impact our lives? So without wasting any more time, let's start at the beginning. What is spirituality? So in order to tell you what it is, I first need to tell you what it is not. It is not energy. It's not something that you can feel. It's not something that you can measure, and it's not empirical. So how can you tell it's even real? On this channel, I'm going to ask you something very important. To think. I know not a lot of mentors and guides will ask of you to do that. Most will tell you what to think and give you ready-made solutions. But I'm afraid with the spiritual studies, that's not the case. Here, I'm asking you to take a mental risk, to put everything you think you know on the line, challenge the status quo, ask hard questions, engage in critical thinking, and try to find flaws and failures in the nature of things, even within the concepts that I'm presenting right here. We're gonna learn things that are logical, that actually makes sense. Makes sense not emotionally, but ideally. Spiritual is about grasp. The more you'll be able to grasp, the more your mind can extend its reach, and you'll be able to see the world for what it truly is, ultimately leading to inner peace, happiness, and a sense of belonging. So now with this new mindset, let's revisit our initial question. Does spirituality even exist? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a scenario. What if all of your senses, sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch, the channel to perceive the world, were stripped off you? I'm not kidding around. After this very sentence, pause the video, close your eyes, and hold the thought for a few seconds in your mind. Tell me, do you exist? I hope you did pause the video. As I told you, this study is the expansion of our minds. And if you didn't pause till now, I'll give you this one chance before we continuing. Okay, let's continue. So, do you exist? If your answer was yes, can I ask, how do you know? There's no right answer, by the way. But as I told you, it is about grasping, so I'll teach you how to think. This is not just for spirituality studies. This is how you should approach any kind of mental search. How to become a thinker. The path of the thinker involves exploring ideas from different fields, enabling synthesis of seemingly unrelated concepts into a fresh idea, supported by multiple perspectives. For example, think about the evolution of nanotechnology. Originally rooted in biology, this idea ventured into the realms of technology, delivering a transformative concept into the world. And the same we're going to do to answer our question. How can we actually prove spirituality? First, I want to use the help of a very known philosophical theory, Cogito Ergo Sum. I think, therefore I am. I don't want to enter into the full explanation of René Descartes' idea. There is many videos and written materials about the subject, but to sum it up, Descartes have brought a new approach to philosophy called radical doubt. Descartes doubted everything. He doubted the things he sees, what he hears, what he touches. He claimed that your senses lie to you on a regular basis. Today, we also know that biologically to be true, as your eyes see upside down and your brain is the one so-called fixing your sight, and we can debate whether the world is really what we see. For example, if we both point on a color and call it green, do we really see the same color, or do we actually see two different colors but our minds agree on the concept of that color, so we both named it green? Although it's a very interesting argument, we will talk about it in another video. Descartes did exactly what I asked you guys to do. Doubt everything, taking away your entire communication system with the outer world. Once Descartes did this to his outer world, he started also to doubt his inner world. He claimed that even our very thoughts might not be that trustworthy, as we cannot be absolutely sure that they are ours to begin with. He called it a devil or a neuroscientist that manipulates our thoughts. So even the thought itself can be put to doubt. Eventually, he came to the conclusion that he cannot be sure of anything anymore. And then it's when he came to realize, I cannot be sure. I am doubting. There is a me that is actually doing a process of doubting. To explain it a little better, Descartes came to the conclusion that although the outcome of our thoughts is manipulated, the very thought itself is ours alone. With this idea, he got to his well-known disclaimer, I think, therefore I am. We will return to Descartes' idea in the future, but for now, I want to take this example of the study of the mind to show you the way of the thinker. Since here on out, we are all thinkers. But even more than that, we can actually see with this idea something that is not measured, not felt, not empirical, actually lead us to the realization that we are, in fact, exist. But maybe it's not enough to convince you. So let's go ahead and try another idea to prove that spirituality is a real thing. This concept is also very known, yet we fail miserably for many years to put a finger in the right spot for its true nature. We use it on a daily basis, probably not even realize how deep this rabbit hole goes. Want to try and take a guess? The concept I'm talking about is love. Let's start with what love is really all about. And here I'll ask you to pause the video again, take a piece of paper, think about the term, like give it a real good thought, and write down, how do we define love? If you find yourself struggle, that's a very good thing.
Good job!
You see, the true definition of love seems like a very elusive kind of thing, because people feel love in different ways. And you're not on the wrong here. Some need to express love differently between different types of people. For that matter, the way I love my parents, it's not the same way I love my partner, and it's not the same way I love my children. But the problem starts with this very issue, that actually love looks like a subjective kind of thing. So if we look at the concept of love, we will find that if it really is a subjective thing, that I feel feelings of love differently between different types of people, the definition departs from one definition to another. So we can never really agree on what is the definition of love. So first we need to distinguish between two types of love when we talk about the concept of love. There is love out of giving and love out of receiving. When I talk about the concept of love, I refer specifically to the point that it shows willingness. And those of you who define love in a way is related to receiving, for example, people who I want near me as much as possible, we will further discuss this subject and we will see the difference between those two types of love. But for the purpose of that matter, right now, we will start with the assumption that when we talk about love, is love out of giving. It's also a definition that we can all agree upon, and quite comprehensively. So far, whenever I got the chance to debate this topic with others, I actually couldn't find anyone to disagree with this definition. The definition of the concept of love is the desire to give without the need to receive anything in return. The desire to give without the need to receive anything in return. So let's examine this. If I ask a scientist how he knows he loves someone, the scientist will probably tell me that it's a collection of electrical signals that are created in the brain as a result of some kind of activity that happens in reality and which makes me feel feelings of closeness, love, and connection. But nevertheless, if the definition of love is only a collection of electrical signals as suggested by science, I can argue that in the moment you are angry with the person you suppose to love, the collection of electrical signals suggests that you are angry, and therefore you, at that particular moment, do not feel in love with this person. But it seems a bit sketchy. For the matter of fact, if I really love someone, I may be angry with him. Even more than that, sometimes because I love him, I may be angry with him. I can be angry with him because I want him to be happy, and if he does something against logic and sabotages his chances of being happy, I would be angry with him. If we reduce the concept of love to the scientific level alone, we will lose the entire content of what love is. If it is so that the definition of love is the desire to give without the need to receive anything in return, we discover that, in fact, as much as I want to give to someone, we can be angry with him, be sad because of him, we can have all sorts of emotion, and we are still in the state called love. So where am I going with this? To conclude, we see that love is also not a feeling. It's above all feelings. It is not an emotion. You can feel a variety of emotion while still being in the state called love. Nor is it a measurable thing, and it is not empirical. That is because love is a grasp concept. And so is written in the education book, after the actions draws the heart. And now that you see with this definition that love is also not a subjective kind of thing, because as much as I want to give to someone, it doesn't matter who he is, parents, partners, friends, or co-workers. The definition never changes, just the amount of giving that we could or would like to give. We will return to the concept of love in other videos when we'll talk specifically about this term, and we will see why I cannot give to my parents as much as I want to give to my kids, and etc. But for now, we see that love also suggests that it's a concept of the mind. So to conclude, the more we'll expand our minds and soar into the depth of the spiritual world, the more we'll be able to grasp spiritual concepts and see the world for what it truly is. The feelings that you'll feel will be deeper, truer, and positive. You will find it harder and harder to get mad at people or at the world. You'll feel blessed even when something bad happens to you, since you'll find a reason behind it, and you'll be able to finally find peace with everything that you do. And please write to me if there's anything new that you find, what you want me to talk about next. Until next time, from your very own spiritual guide, stay enlightened.